Hi, so excited to have a celebrity stylist and entrepreneur, Ivanna, join us. I hope everybody is really well and excited about about people's wild rides. So if you have any questions, drop it in the comments as well. And yeah, hello.
Hello.
Oh, so good to see you, beautiful.
You
It's been
too.
forever.
You too. Oh my God, it's been forever.
I know. How have you been?
I'm good. I just got home. I was in 45-minute LA traffic. You know how it goes. The good old traffic, right?
Yeah,
Good old LA
yeah.
traffic.
But you're
How are
here,
you?
you've arrived. Sydney's traffic is just as bad now. Sydney's traffic, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, I think LA is still worse. I think LA
Yeah,
is still
honestly, I don't think I'll ever get used to it. It's just one thing that like I just still haven't adjusted to, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to have you on. It was crazy. Like, I was like, it was new moon, and I was kind of reflecting. And it was exactly 2 years ago when I was like, oh, I want to do an IG live. And then it was just weird. Like a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, I want to do it again. And then, like, obviously, I was like, wanted to always chat with you. And yeah, the stars aligned.
I love it. I've been doing a lot of lives lately, and
Mm,
I think they're good. I think it's like get your reps in, like because a lot of people feel apprehensive about going live
yeah.
because it's live. But
Yeah.
yeah, the more you do it, I think it's fun. I love it.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point because I was the same. Like when I first started doing them, I was like so nervous and I like watched back videos and I was like so awkward.
Yeah,
And I was like thinking about like, like, with life and things really busy in another way that I can kind of, use my creative outlet. And I was like, I love chatting to
yeah,
people. And
yeah,
with my time,
yeah, yeah.
IG Live's probably the easiest kind of format that I can like chat to people that I love around the world that I haven't talked to for ages. And yeah, it's good.
And also, with the whole letting go of perfectionism, for me, it was like
Yeah.
a way that I couldn't make it perfect. It's like your life, so like let it go.
That's such a good point. Yeah, because you can't edit it, you can't go back. It's
Yeah,
like it's out there and you've got to accept it. And I always remember like a really pivotal kind of point for me was I remember how long ago was it when you did that perfectionism workshop?
I think I started it during COVID. Was it COVID? Maybe. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like everything stopped and I couldn't do
Mm,
like my normal styling and my clients and stuff. So I was like, all right, well, I need to serve people while I'm stuck inside. So yeah, I think it was the first one. I think was 2020. Yeah,
yeah, so it must have been 3 years ago. And I
yeah,
remember with that when you were like doing it, and I was like, oh, I'm not a perfectionist. And I was like, oh, no, it's okay. And I did it, and I was like, oh, wow, like I'm actually like, you can be in different ways. And like, I remember doing it with you, and I think it's in my creative work, like putting myself out there. So ever since I did that kind of workshop with you, which I'm so grateful, I've just kind of challenged myself creatively to kind of put myself out there
yeah.
because it's so vulnerable.
Oh my God, it's like you think, yeah, I could do that, and then it's
Yeah.
like time to do it, and then you go, holy shit, like it's the biggest way that people can judge you, like with
Yeah.
yourself putting yourself out there at your own, like with your own choice. It's not like you're put in a situation, you're choosing to do it. So I feel like humans have this innate fear of judgment, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, you either push through the uncomfortable and get your reps in, like I've been taught, and or you
Yeah.
just kind of keep waiting for the perfect moment, and the perfect moment never arrives.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like, it's like that edgy feeling. You're like, oh, wow. Like, and you would know, like going, on there, like when you see people, when you put yourself out there as yourself and your personality, like, obviously there's going to be people that are going to judge you because you're not playing a character or you're not something else. It's like, hey, this is me. And,
Yeah.
I definitely know like starting your own business and like putting yourself out there, which I'm so proud of you. It's the most inner work that you can do. So do you want to share a little bit about your journey?
Oh, babe. Oh, babe. Sure. Yeah, it's like literally putting yourself in the arena. And the reason
Yeah.
why I say that is because it was last week or 2 weeks ago that I watched Call to Courage with Brene Brown, and she's like the best person I feel that like explains it the best. It's like you put yourself in the arena ready to be like completely judged and criticized.
Yeah.
And like you said, like not everyone's gonna like you. And it was like what I taught in the course, like, and what I've been like taught my whole self-development journey is there's like a third of people that are going to love you, a third of people that are going to hate you, and a third of people that just don't give a shit. And so like when you learn to live life like with that in the back of your mind, you're like, well, I mean, not everyone cares about what you're doing. You're living your own movie, right? And everyone's living their own movie, and no one really cares that much when you get down to it. And I just think that we just need to get over ourselves and stop being so self-absorbed.
Yeah, 100%. And like, yeah, because like some people just don't even care. I 100% go with that motto, and like, you know, even putting yourself out there and speaking is like, yeah, some people don't even care. And then it's like focus on the people that actually need to hear your message. And sometimes that can be the most challenging thing. Like you forget, you get in your head about it, and you know, not be so self-absorbed, but take on that energy as like, I'm the main character of my own life.
Yeah.
And
when you like, the biggest thing I'm learning as well, like you're there to serve, and you're there to like offer something or offer a service or whatever it is that you're choosing to do. And again, when I come from that energy, it's completely different, because then it's not about you. You take yourself out of it. And because I've been on like this huge journey since I moved out here on faith, like with faith, right? And like really building this relationship to my faith and to God and all of that. And it's like, again, I am not doing anything. God is working through me, a higher power, whatever you believe in is working through me. So again, you take away this like version of like, it's me doing this. It's me like with this creativity and, you know, working as a stylist. It's like, well, no, something's working through me. So it's like, again, I'm not God. Allow him to work magic through me, so to speak. So that's another new perspective or lens that I've been operating through. And again, it just takes away this human aspect, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's been a big game changer. I feel like even for me, when I've kind of reframed of how can I serve the world, and like take out the ego out of it and be like, this is just coming through me. This isn't me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever is coming through me. And even I totally resonate with you, because like through my journey and the different things that I've done, I've come back to faith. I've come back to, you know, God and spirit and, you know, things that are going in, and like it's everyone's own personal journey. It doesn't look, you know, exactly the same way. And I think throughout my journey, it's so easy to kind of, people put you on a pedestal of how it's supposed to look like. And we're all human. We're all imperfectly perfect, living this human experience.
And especially like in my industry, it's like, you know, it's based on external and image and appearance. And so for me to like, again, stay in the industry and stay working as a stylist, it's like, I need to come from a spiritual realm, because the rest is so exterior. And that's what I think separates me from other people, is like not everything I do is based on image, you know what I mean? So it's like I've been doing this internal transformation myself, and therefore like it's coming out in my work. So it allows me to like stay in an industry that is so heavily based on exterior and first impressions.
And stay really grounded in that, like
especially even out
here. And I suppose you would have to, especially like what you said, surrounded with everything, is like, how can you find that place of, you know, of faith, and that faith of like, you know, you know, what is going to come next? Because I even know that when I seen you last year, I was like, wow, we've both grown so much from when you were living in Sydney, and it's like the transformation. And sometimes it's kind of like, I'm like, oh, am I still growing? Am I still going through this?
I've just accepted that like I'm never going to fully be healed, and there's never a moment that I arrive to. So like just accept the fact that it's going to be ongoing, and no destination. Like stop trying to get to like the destination, you know?
Enjoy the journey,
enjoy the
way.
journey.
And I think that's what it is, like, you know, with like self-development and self-growth, you know, we always think that we'll get to this point, and even in life we'll get to this point and we'll be happy, but it's like, why can't we choose to be happy now, or find that joy now? And I think that, you know, we've come out of this like kind of time where everyone's done all this healing, and now they're just like, I want to enjoy my life a little bit.
100%. Like for me, it's like I've given up trying to stop figuring it out. And
Yeah.
I've just now focused on building this like foundation in myself that's so solid, because there's only so many, you know, self-development, personal development retreats that you can do before it's like you start hearing the same shit, right? So
Yeah.
for me, like the work that I'm doing right now, I'm just like, I'm going back to basics and just building this like foundation inside myself. Oh, you good?
Oh, wait. Can you hear me? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you all good?
Yeah, well, good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's, yeah, the foundation.
yeah,
Yeah.
the inner foundation, like I'm inside a container right now, with some insanely amazing people. And yeah, what I thought it was like a business mastermind, like to grow my business, is actually not what I thought it was, but it's better. It's like getting to the crux of the shit that has been holding me back in the limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
So then it's like going back into your past and getting real with situations that like you've probably been avoiding or hiding. So like you know, calling people that in your eyes have done wrong by you, and like calling and doing forgiveness work and apologizing. It
We're on
is
the same timeline. This is exactly what's been happening. That is crazy. That's what I've been going through too the past few months. Yeah.
Let me tell you, my pride and ego was like, I'm not doing that. And it was like, that's the shit that's going to give you freedom, right?
Yeah.
So
Because mine was like,
that's
what is depleting me? What is depleting my energy? And, you know, I was having like, you know, my body was speaking to me. I was having like back issues, all different things. And I sat with it and I sat with the pain, and it was forgiveness, exactly like with you.
there's no coincidence. There's no coincidence we're having the conversation. And so like
Yeah.
my coach, Garen, was like, you want freedom, you want to like literally have what like feel what true freedom is. And I was like, yes. He's like, do the shit that other people wouldn't do, like do the uncomfortable thing. And
Yeah.
it's true, because I made my first phone call yesterday. Honestly, like I'm talking within 5 minutes, it was like a different sensation feeling in my body. I woke up more peaceful this morning, and it was like you just release this like blocked energy that's just sitting there for years. And then when you actually get down to the like, you know, why haven't I spoken to this person? It's just so petty and ridiculous. And you go all this time without speaking to them or holding this resentment, and it's like I caused myself so much unnecessary suffering.
100%. Yeah. And you've been like holding on, and you've been kind of like pushing back, having these difficult conversations. And it's like, you know, forgiveness doesn't mean that it needs to be kind of like an end point, or, you know, it's to set yourself free.
Yeah.
And it's even like forgiveness of yourself, of how you were in that situation, or, you know, being with it and being like, yeah, I didn't have it all together. I was the same. I like a few weeks ago just sent a few texts, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna catch up and have some coffee with these people. And it was like, look, you know, I understand what's happened, but, you know, like I'm happy to move past, and I'm happy for you. And exactly, you feel so much lighter. Yeah.
And then I've noticed like just, you know, shifts inside you know, like my business and opportunities that come up the moment that I've chosen to like swallow my pride and get rid of my ego. It's like all these different things come into your life, and you're like, well, why did that happen? And it's like, well, it's like the laws of nature. It's like what I'm learning inside this container. You keep trying to avoid what's trying to come out of you, and you're like, it's not natural, it's not in alignment, right? So yeah, it's really deep in that spiritual kind of way of being, but I feel like that's been a lot of my growth, and allowed me to get to where I am in such a short space of time being out here.
Oh yeah, I'm so proud of you. Definitely. Like,
thank you.
And it's not easy. Like what you said really really stuck with me. Someone said, miss you.
I miss you.
Yeah, like, because a lot of people won't. Like, I feel like with all these things, like exactly what you were saying, and I kind of like track back like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I was going through this same cycle, and it's like God, the universe is kind of going to me, are you willing to change, or are you going to stay in the same pattern? And a lot of people don't sit with it. And that's what you're saying, is like, no, okay, what do I need to do to let this energy go, not fall in the same pattern? And yeah, forgiveness is just, it sounds so easy, but
a lot of people like a lot of people are not willing to do it. Like, you know, just conversations that I have with people that are doing the work or that aren't doing the work, the ego like just destroys so much, like whether it's relationships, friendships, like we create stories in our mind, we make decisions about things that like are coming from our own filter, like all of that stuff if you want to get super deep about it. And we just literally create these like versions of reality that aren't the truth, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, a lot of us are in fight or flight. Like a lot of us, you know, we're burnt out. We've like all of a sudden went from like, you know, when we were in lockdown, nothing happened, to overstimulating and so much happening, and you know, and then we're all kind of like, just slow down, you know.
Yeah.
All of us are acting from a place that is probably, you know, not our authentic selves, you know, being like, yeah, like being like just reacting to whatever's going on. So it's when we kind of take that step back and kind of, you know, do a bit of the work like what you said and this, and we kind of go, okay, this is my direction, this is where I want to end up.
That's been my thing as well with like the burnout, like the
Yeah.
constant pattern of like defaulting to like go, do, then burn out, and then, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Like, what am I doing? And it's like operating from the masculine energy because I'm not used to being in my feminine flow and all that type of thing. So it's like acknowledging why I busy myself to the point of exhaustion, because it's another thing that I'm trying to avoid feeling.
Yeah, and I definitely feel you as well. I look at, and it's hard because you actually, like, when you are going through the burnout, you're actually doing something that you really love and you're passionate about,
Yeah.
but that you're not doing it in balance. So it's like, and like, I suppose all of it really comes back to boundaries. I'm getting better at speaking about my boundaries and being like, this is what I need. Like in the morning, I need to go for a walk, or I need to meditate, or I need to kind of set myself in a good framework to kind of for the day. But it can be hard when you're living in big cities, you know.
Oh my God. I mean, the moment I step out of the door, the energy is just like insane, like erratic, frenetic energy. And so I'm such a sensitive person that I take everything on, whether it's people, the energy of the environment. So like implementing these self-care practices like has just been, I have to, otherwise there's no way I can survive out in this town. Like there's no way. It's I mean, you experienced it coming here, like those couple of days that we hung out. It's like just driving alone, you feel like you're going bananas. Like I'm just like, what?
I was like, I think, you know, when I left my hair back, I think I was just a lot of energy, like, there was so much going on, and I was just like, oh wow. But yeah, it was like, you know, I think you can find at the pockets of, you know, even like the few days was quite life changing, like in LA. So but it's just it's an ongoing kind of journey, but it's like, you know, really knowing, you know, your support system and like what you said, having someone that's going to kind of push you a little bit further. And
that's exactly why I continue investing inside these programs and these mastermind containers, is because one, the accountability, two, the community is everything. And Garen, my coach that I always talk about, basically can pull out of me what I can't pull out of myself. And for me, that's everything, because like you can only see a certain aspect of yourself and like what your threshold is. But if someone doesn't push you, then you're never really going to like push the edges and push the, you know, your boundaries of what you're capable of. Because I think as humans, we like the comfort zone and we like familiarity. So yeah, that's definitely one of my biggest tips, is like committing to the inner work, because I've dabbled in and out for so many years. It's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then 6 months will go by and it's like, what's not sticking here? And it's literally like sticking to that work for a period of time so that foundation is really strong. And I finally surrendered and realized that I can't do it alone.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like I've even found like I've been in this like battle of like, you know, wanting to serve and then kind of focusing on my own growth. And then I've kind of like, you know, like last year I was kind of like going, you know, kind of driving, like pushing everything, not letting it flow. And then I kind of was like, I've got to step back for my own mental health and actually be like, I'm just going to focus on my own healing now. And like let that be a priority, because everything else will come to me in, you know, like within your life, once like attracts like.
And everything's vibration and everything's And the moment that I also like committed to doing the work myself, it was when more clients came, more opportunities came, because putting that investment in yourself, you're telling yourself that you're worth it. It's like self-worth thing as well.
Yeah.
So
I feel like when, like what you said with the vibrational, it's like I found that like I've been in a cycle where the same challenges have come up, but I've been in like, you know, I'm in a better mental state that doesn't bother me. Like you know what I mean? The things that used to, you know, I would be like, I'm okay, I'm good, I've got this, I've overcome it before, I can do it again. So it's that resilience. And I think in the world today, with everything that's happening, is being resilient, having, you know, doing the work and being that, you know, resilient person, because everything changes, and being able to be like, okay, you know, I'm going to pivot or change, you know, whatever that idea is, and letting that creative kind of flow happen.
Yeah, again, I heard an analogy the other day, like when you do this kind of work, it's almost like you become like Neo from the Matrix. It's like when life you kind of like can dodge things so much easier and not like be so reactive of what, you know, probably used to trigger you. Because I found myself like the things that I used to get triggered by, like now I'm just like, whatever, it's just like a drop in the ocean. But a year ago I would be triggered, and I would like, my reactions would be like completely different. So yeah, and I think, like you said, where the world is today, we're in some dark times. You need to, like, more than ever, have the right people around you, be in the right energy, all of that.
Yeah, I love that Neo in the Matrix. It is, you know, yeah, like dodging the and yeah, I've even found like, you know, I've had to be quite selective, like who my kind of inner circle is, and who are the people that when I'm hanging out with them, they're lifting me up, and being able to have those conversations. Because before I used to try to be, you know, be friends with everyone and try to be this, and then now I'm kind of like, people like, they see me out and about, but I'm kind of like, no, I'm very much a homebody as well. Like sometimes I like just being at home and not
oh my god, same. Everyone's like, you're always out and about. I'm like, yeah, it appears that way, but if you really get to know me, I want to be at home with no makeup on, in front of like Netflix, doing nothing. 100%. I want, like, I only now want people around me that literally call me out on my shit. Like, don't sugarcoat it. Don't go along with what I say because I'm trying to get you to like side with my story and my perspective. Like, call me out of my bullshit. Otherwise, it's not a real friendship.
Yeah. And mine's even like that time, like I used to feel like I had to do everything. And then now my friends are like, hey, actually this morning I'm just going to have time on my own and this. And I don't feel like obliged to always go out, or like tonight I'm not going to go out. Like I'm not feeling it. I'm just going to like stay at home and, you know, have a bath.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
They're okay with it, you know, like they're like, oh, okay, if that's what you need to do, you know.
The personal boundaries thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, because it's, you know, we need to, like what you said, find that way to kind of cultivate our energy, and, you know, to be our best and to be our like creative best.
Yeah, not be a people pleaser, which is what I'm recovering from.
Me too. Me too.
Guilty.
And that's what I think has to do with, you know, when we were talking about before about the people pleasing is feeling like we have to do everything. Is that burnout? Like that is, you know, burnout is a recovering people pleaser being like, yep, like it's a worthiness thing. It's like, I think I found my worth to be able to like speak up about my boundaries and what I need. And like, I think for a lot of people, they don't understand forgiveness. Forgiveness is easy because, like, you know, not easy, like it's hard doing it, but it's easy because you know that you can move on with your life once you've done it.
Yeah. And you like also allow that other person or empower that other person to kind of like do it themselves, because I mean, you lead by example, right? And like for me, I feel like just more empowered myself. Trust me, it's like about like when I'm about to make that phone call and like my heart's jumping out of my chest and I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this. I'm like, get rid of your ego and your pride and just make the freaking call. So yeah, again, it's not easy, but liberating and freedom and ultimate peace is like what I'm searching for anyway. So yeah.
Someone put, Lucy put, I love this conversation. Yeah, and it's so important because both you and I, Ivanna, we live these lives that everyone just thinks like everything's good, we're fine, we're living, you know what I mean? And it's just being real and authentic and being like, shit happens. There's a lot of work behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
And also like, I think another thing
Mm.
that a lot of people don't know about me is like, because I'm in this industry and I do what I do, I've had to really let go of this like need to belong and need for acceptance. And like, I think everyone has that to some extent, but, needing the external validation to feel enough, like, they're my biggest wounds, like feeling enough and, feeling good enough, all of those things I've realized over so many years of doing work. I've just gotten to the point where like letting go of that need of any kind of validation and even the opinions of other people to not have that validation, like trusting myself. The self-trust has been a huge thing that I've cultivated, because I found myself like I would make a decision and then I'd have to go and get 3 or 4 friends' opinions to confirm that my decision was enough. And it's like, where did that self-doubt all stem from? So I've had to do all of that work on not getting rid of, because I don't think you ever get rid of anything, just limiting that self-doubt,
Yeah, like finding in a compass, what is our true north? Like, we're all intuitive beings, but sometimes we don't listen to our intuition of, doing right for us. And there is like there is a very, especially when you're in a big city and there's a very kind of thin line between the light and the dark and the two forces coming together, and you finding like what is your truth, what is your journey without the opinion and the validation of everyone else. And I've definitely found that like people haven't understood things I've done, like or things that I have to do, and I was like, no, I know this is for my greater good, and this is gonna lead me to where I want to be. Because sometimes we listen and like not everybody has the best interest for us of what path to go to, and it's right listening to that truth and being like, okay, this, I don't know, this is guiding me that I have to do this.
100%, yeah, tapping into that, but also like tapping into your intuition, trusting it. Because like there's another saying that I always tell myself, like not every good thing is a God thing, right? It's always kind of like it could be dressed up as the dark and it seems like it's the light, especially out here in Hollywood. I'm always presented with both light and dark, and I'm getting better at like cutting through the bullshit and seeing it way quicker than what I used to. And it's like the discernment, having the discernment, practicing discernment to navigate through what is good for you and what's not. Because I've had to say no to like opportunities because it doesn't align with my values. It sounds good, it looks good, it looks good on the outside, but then I'm like, I get that pit in my stomach and it's like, no, that's the signal there. That's like the red flag that you ignore. Yeah. And it's like the alarm bells go off and you still choose to ignore it. And then you have to pay the consequence after. So yeah, there's a lot of that kind of work that has come to the surface for me the past 6 months. And it's honestly deep self-trust.
Oh, definitely. Because, with the light, you've got to have the dark, but then you've got to navigate. Like, I love what you said. You've got to have that torch and you've got to, trust your gut feeling of, what feels right for you. But sometimes when you're in it feels like a lot.
Yeah. And like, like being out here in a big city, as a woman, single also, sometimes I find myself like, wanting to like reach for something that is going to give you that comfort or that familiarity. Because it gets exhausting at times being out here in this kind of city and having to kind of not have your defenses up, but have your defenses up and kind of protecting yourself from like God knows what and God knows who. That like, you sometimes go, oh, would that give me the comfort short term, or do I have to kind of put myself in the voluntary discomfort and then push through to then get to the other side and go, no, it was like I was supposed to stick to what I thought the first time and not try and get that short term like satisfaction or pleasure or whatever it is, if in that moment you think it feels good. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Like overseas, like I've been there before, and you're away from home, and it's like you want something that's safe, you want something that is gonna comfort you and not to feel so alone, because it can be lonely, like when you're in a big city and away, and but then you're like, okay, is that the right thing, or have I got to just sit with it and feel it and cut off things that don't serve me?
Face yourself, and then like you said, it can be super isolating out in a big city. Despite however many people are out here, if you don't have the right circle, it can be incredibly isolating.
Yeah, yeah. And you've done the right thing. Like, like, you live, you learn, things happen. But it's the resilience, like what I was saying before, that you come out of it and you're like, okay, I know now.
You learn the hard way.
Like, yeah, it's not easy. I feel like you've got to fall all apart and everything coming shattering down, and then it's like how what you said about that foundation piece is like, okay, well maybe what I built before wasn't on solid foundation,
Yeah.
so how can I build this life and these values that I want on these foundations that are going to be unshaken?
Yeah, it's like the biggest thing is like going back to basics, and it's like, well, I should know this by now. I'm such and such age. Why do I not have that? But it's like you're not taught that growing up. Like we're not taught like to have these this strong foundation. Like if you didn't have it growing up and you realize why certain things in your life don't work, well, it's because it's for a reason, because that solid foundation wasn't built to begin with. So yeah, doing these things like the forgiveness work and letting go of resentment and all that type of stuff, as uncomfortable as it is, it's I'm just now learning how important it is if you want to like get to the next level and up level.
Yeah. Yeah, up level. And you've taken a risk even going out there that a lot of people don't even do, that leave the comfort of like home and go up there and plus do the work while you're over there. But I think it's come to the time that's like you know everyone has been doing the work, and then it's kind of like that unity, like coming together. And yeah, like it's hard finding your people, finding your people that get you, that you don't have to have a mask on, that you're like, this is me and you understand. That's why I feel like you've always been a soul sister, that way I'm like, yep, you get it.
From the day I met you, it felt that way. So that's why it's like, even after not seeing each other for so long, it's like you just pick up where you left off. And like for me, they're the type of friendships that I want. It's like I don't see you for like 2 years, and it's like we just like normal when we see each other. You're just like a sister to me. So
Yeah, that you go and like supporting each other, like as women, we should be. And it sounds like I found throughout my work that I do doing community work and like being about like women supporting each other, but we're in a mindset to compete with each other. A lot of
of
women,
course,
and even if, and some women can't even see it, and it's like we're here being like, we should support a sister, be happy and proud when she's successful. But you still see it like in here in Australia, the tall poppy
oh,
syndrome, that
that honestly, that is one thing I do not miss about Australia. I miss a lot of things. But the one thing that I value so much, especially with the new friendships I've cultivated inside like the conscious communities that I'm in, is the genuine support that like these women want to see you win, right? Um, and don't get me wrong, like there's like it's not 100% like that everywhere out here, but it's a lot different to Australia, where it's like, no, like good for you, like go for it, like chase your dreams and um, embrace each other and be happy, like genuinely happy. Because it's like I listened to the Audible. It's called The Power by Rhonda Byrne. Incredible Audible. If you're genuinely, like honestly, genuinely not happy for someone's success or like their happiness or whatever, like it's the law of attraction. Like you literally create that same reality for yourself. Like if you don't really feel happy for someone, you're not going to get that back in your own life.
yeah,
Um, so it's like it's all vibration. It comes down to vibration again. So if you're like literally thinking negative thoughts about someone, well, why have they got that and I don't? Then it's like you're literally just lowering your vibration and not creating the space for it to come into your own life. So yeah, I just wish there wasn't so much tall poppy in Australia, because I definitely feel like more than ever I've been able to like be my most self-expressed version, being out here in the US. And I think more so now I've got the confidence. So like going back to Australia, I feel like I'd be fine. But coming from Australia to the US, it was like I had to learn this new level of confidence to be in this industry and environment out here, because everyone is so confident and everyone is so like go getting and like just yeah, no fear, almost like just like going for their dreams. So it was almost like I had to like get into first gear, get out of second gear, and it's like don't hold back. Like no, this is what I do. This is who I am, and be willing to kind of like put yourself out there.
yeah,
So
yeah, and not be yeah, like that's what I found when I was living in the US. And then I came back to Australia. Everyone's like, oh, well, that's, you know what I mean? Oh, that's a bit too much. I like this and this, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, everybody's like networking and supporting and like, hey, this is my dream and like have that confidence. And it's like, why can't we embody and live that, in our everyday life? And I always say like, women or people that kind of like focus on like, yeah, like what you said, on like putting other people down or things like that. It's like, why don't you direct that energy into living your own
Yeah.
dreams? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's everyone's kind of own journey and things to discover. But it's so good that you've come into your most full self expression there.
Yeah, I just think that being able to be vulnerable and transparent with like my own struggles has one allowed me to connect with more people, but also and allowed other people to do the same. But I've been able to go a lot deeper with my clients as well, like with the work and like the obviously styling is my vehicle, but the deep confidence work that I'm wanting to work within people is like having to do that work myself, and then therefore I'm able to like coach my client with their confidence and getting rid of their like self-doubt and overwhelm. So it's been something that I never anticipated I would be working on so much, but it's been like the biggest gift. And for me, it's like now my purpose is that clear that, yeah, I know where I'm going.
Oh, that's so good. And would you like, is there anything coming up that you want to share to everyone that you're excited about or you're working on?
Yeah, I've got a lot behind the scenes that's going on, but so first and foremost, I've just put like this extra light on. Oh, what's going on here? So I'm obviously, as doing my styling work, there's a few things going on behind the scenes there with some exciting new clients in the sports and entertainment realm, which is really cool. I also have a new concept that I have birthed with a new business partner, and it's called Avant-Garde. It's basically Avant-Garde means unusual interactions.
Oh,
And yeah, the reason why we've called it that is my business partner that I recently started working with, we met through firstly unusual interaction through a very close friend of mine. He's a music producer out here in LA, London born and raised, but Nigerian background. I'm Australian born and raised, Italian background. We met in LA. And we've joined like forces, and the whole idea is to bridge culture. So my goal this year was to challenge myself aesthetically with new designers. And then I meet Mikey, my business partner, and he has all these connections with African designers.
wow.
So here I am, like wanting to challenge my style aesthetic. He presents me with all these African designers to kind of like choose from, and because he's got access to them. And I go to All Stars Weekend, NBA All Stars Weekend with these designers because I was styling a client. And next thing you know, I'm like with a couple of NBA superstars, and we're literally like dressing them with these African designers.
Wow.
So that in itself like became this unintentional, unusual interaction. And it was like, wow, this is where the concept is birthed. So we've got this passion of bridging culture. He's a music producer, I'm in fashion. That's the connection. But what we're going to be doing is bringing African designers out to the US and styling them on, athletes and people in the music and sports entertainment industry. So
I love that. You've got to
yeah,
definitely like the link to that so everyone can
yeah.
follow.
Yeah, so it's been something that like we're working behind the scenes the past 6 months. The most recent client that I styled was for the ESPYs, and she is a phenomenal, inspiring, like young woman. She's only 25. She's an ex-model, pageant queen turned professional gamer.
Wow.
And so, yeah, like again, just like another whole unusual interaction. She's married to an Australian. So for me, I was like, and she loves Australian designers. So for me, it was about promoting the Australian designer element. So I styled her in Dion Lee. And it was like, again, that American girl, professional gamer, first female gamer attending the ESPYs. We wanted to style her in Australian designer. So like the story itself, like was just in any other circumstance, so random, but yeah. So that's like this passion to like bridge the culture, style with different aesthetics and like what I'm not used to get out of my comfort zone and build a whole nother avenue of creativity.
And like bringing back like yeah like some culture and history, maybe people links to how they want to dress. And I think that's like so important more than ever, like of that representation and diversity that we see in like fashion and in culture as well.
Yeah, so the diversity, the self-expression, and what I would love, like my vision is to bring the concept to Australia. I really want to bring like a group of these African designers and showcase them, back home in Perth, in Sydney, and yeah, just I guess like showcase something that was not even intentionally planned, but came together just through synchronicity, unintentional like interaction. It was just, yeah, something that we're both so passionate about, and we're basically just bringing it into the US out here. So it's really exciting. I'll eventually be sharing it on my own personal page, and like I'll send you like the links and stuff. But that's what's happening behind the scenes. I'm also putting out my second celebrity styling program with Made of Fashion. So any aspiring stylists that want to get into the fashion industry, it doesn't just have to be celebrity styling, it's normal styling as well. I've basically put together these new programs with Made of Fashion to offer to young aspiring stylists that want to get into the industry. So yeah, my next program is end of August, and there's a lot going on.
I know, so exciting. You know what I mean, all these different like projects and like things happening.
Yeah.
We can drop that one. That's already happening, so that's going to be soon.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just like really excited and grateful that I'm able to like still work inside the industry after like everything that's happened in the world, and I guess inspiring women and giving them the confidence, women and men. Like I work with both, but yeah, for me it's just literally walking in the faith of like not knowing what's going to happen and like surrendering all control, because I used to live with this way of being of like I have to control everything, I have to like and there's just so much blockage that comes with that. So yeah, I think the biggest piece of advice is just like surrendering and walking in faith and just allowing what the God universe's bigger plan is for you, as opposed to you thinking that you are in control, because we're not at all.
And like what you like having lots of different things that we're working on, because it used to be before it was like this certain way. And what I always remember when you were living here in Sydney, you always had the faith. You're like, I'm going to LA no matter what happened. You were like,
I know.
And it was like, yeah, and you made it happen. And sometimes I don't think we congratulate ourselves for like the things that we do, and we don't look back and be like, oh wow, like that was massive, I did that.
Yeah, actually you're right. Like my coach Darren says the same thing. Like you literally need to put time aside to celebrate yourself, because then it's like a never-ending cycle of the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, so and then you're never happy, you're never satisfied. So even like doing that is uncomfortable, because we're not taught to celebrate ourselves.
Yeah, like I do something even little, like if I've had like a good week at work or something happened, like I'll go find myself like a vintage vinyl or buy myself flowers. Like it's like something little like that we wait for people to do, and it's like okay, and then they're like like just something little that we can reward ourselves, that's gonna make us happy. And I think it's like finding those simple pleasures of being like okay, I did this well, get myself this milestone or this little token, or or something, being like I deserve this.
Exactly. I want to ask you, I can't even believe I haven't spoken to you since you've been on Farmer Wants a Wife. What? How was that whole experience?
Well, no, I think it's just that kind of path of being being like, I've always put like work and all my creative projects and everything between my love life, and I was like, you know what, it's just putting myself out there. And wildest ride I've ever done. But I feel like like I've grown, and it's like it was like doing all this inner self-work.
I wish I was back in Australia so I could have watched the show. I mean, like, you have to send me some kind of recording so I can see something. I just remember seeing that you were on there, and I was like, oh my God, like this is so freaking awesome. I can't wait to like dissect the whole experience with you.
When I'm in LA, we'll have to catch up.
Oh my God, please.
I'll tell you.
Congratulations, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, to even actually get on the show is huge.
Well, I always look at everything as a life experience, and when people ask me about it, I was like, okay, so when I'm 80 with my grandkids, I'm gonna laugh with them. And it's like, when I was young, I did all these crazy things.
It's
went on this
another chapter. It's another chapter.
At an apartment, and that's why I always look at things as like experiences, like, you know, as a growth experience, as like, I've done it, I put myself out there,
Yeah.
you know, I've okay, that chapter's done, but yeah, wild.
So awesome. I can't wait for you to come back so you can tell me everything. I want all the details.
Yeah. Like, I was like, oh yeah, like, and like all my friends are like, oh yeah, that's like, I didn't pick it, but yeah, you always do random things like that, Jess.
That's so awesome. Good for you. That takes courage as well to go on TV.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, and I was like, you know, I like showing up, and I was like, I'm just gonna be authentically myself and do all like I do in my everyday life, like meditate, hug the trees, you know what I mean? Go, you know, whatever I need to do. And yeah, because I think that, you know, you would definitely know, like being in the industry, like people change, like, you know, it's hard, like, you know, being like showing up as yourself and like for the whole world to like judge you, you know? Yeah. And staying
Honestly,
true.
that's exactly it, is showing up. Like that term is has been a huge thing this year, like showing up as your authentic self. Like I always have to say, like, everyone uses the word authentic, it gets thrown around a little bit, but like literally showing up as your real authentic self, because there's so much noise and so much like BS that, I mean, what's the point of just being another carbon copy of everything else we see on social media? So like the lives, like putting yourself out there, showing up, like having the conversations that you can't like delete, film again. I think people are just dying to like see and feel the real thing, not just like, you know,
Yeah.
the script that everyone like is used to seeing on like a reality TV show, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
My camera falling down in between, you know what I mean? And it's like embracing like the things that happen, like, you know, in life, like, yeah, nothing's ever perfect. And yeah, like I look back when I was younger and I used to try to be this like perfected versions of things, and I was like so unhappy. And now that, like what you said, like doing the inner work is like finding that freedom, finding that is more valuable than anything else in the world.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I feel like I'm at my happiest now because I'm actually just like being me, and I'm like, the people that aren't in my life anymore,
yeah,
it's like to my advantage because they're obviously not meant to, but I'm like, at least I'm getting rid of the people that aren't meant to be there, and it's like I'm getting embraced by people because I'm being my genuine self. So yeah,
no one can take that away from you, you know,
nope.
and it gives you so much energy because it takes so much energy trying to be everything that everyone wants you to be. So when you're just yourself and you show up as that, I feel like, same as what you said, you attract more people, more things come in, but it is hard to find that person, you know.
Totally. Like, yeah, you mean it's hard to find like people like you that are on the same
Yeah,
vibration? So, yeah.
a lot of people still have the mask on. A lot of people are still like, you know, scared maybe of their friendship group or things, you know, like, because people don't want to be like, you know, like be different, you know, it's hard to be different.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I struggled a lot back home with certain, like I had a lot of different groups of people, like different circles, because I think I was searching so much for that like authenticity, right? And then I came out here, and the more I was just like had this freedom to be myself, it's like I ended up attracting a more of a conscious community, and then that's become my main circle of friends, which I'm like, I don't need to go and search for like that authenticity in different groups because it's just all in one place.
Definitely. Yeah. And I found that like when I was living like here and then I went overseas on my journey, like, you know, went through like the different work and, you know, meditation skills and things that I found those people, and I was like, when I come back to, you know, Australia, come back to Sydney, I'm going to look for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I believe have those people out there. And it's how, you know, obviously it's like, you know, finding and then working, like same, having the different groups. But now I've got like my core people. I'm like, they get me. I don't have to show up as anything else. They know it. And you grow as well. Yeah. And they're calling you out on your bullshit as well. Like
they're calling you out on your bullshit is like, I think the best thing. And then like, I know straight away when I go to like an event or a new gathering with like different people, and I feel like I can't say what's like what I'm feeling, that's like the first sign that like I'm like, I'm not where I'm meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel that, and I was kind of like, and I was like, oh, but I used to enjoy doing these things, and now I'm doing them, and I'm like, doesn't resonate. So I'm kind of, you know, yeah, I'm very kind of picky the things that, you know, I want to do and do. But oh, thank you so much for your time. It's been so good chatting. It's like we're like out of, like
what was that?
It's like we're out at brunch, and it's like no time has passed.
I love it. I can't wait for you to come back to LA so we can like drive down Sunset and like try not get hit by a car.
Yeah, I'll make sure I've got like all my belongings.
Yeah, make sure we don't leave your purse or bag, whatever it was, at a restaurant again.
I think we were just having too much good chats. It was like so many things like happening, and I was like,
We're immersed in like our whole little world. But no, I loved having this chat. So thanks for asking me. Hurry and get back so I can see you in real life.
And I'm excited to get, like, you know, all the projects that you're working on, and that's amazing with the designers and your new collaborations that you're having, and keep trying.
I'll keep
so much love.
Updated. I'll definitely keep you updated. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.